Let us talk about Facebook ads and some of the mistakes that actually make your ad campaign unsuccessful. Now, if you're a small business owner who's trying to sell something online, chances are that you have actually tried to run a Facebook ad campaign. Was it successful? Let me know in the comments. Was it not successful? Let me know in the comments. But the truth is, there are some mistakes that actually make your ad campaign on Facebook very unsuccessful, and then you would waste money, you would waste time, and you'll be very disappointed. So right now I want to share with you 4 simple things that I think you should keep in mind when running your next ad campaign so that you don't waste your time and you do not waste your money. Now, the number one mistake you need to avoid is a poor ad creative. Now, in case you don't know what an ad creative is, it is the content that is in the forefront of your ad campaign. Now, I'm talking about a video or an image or a design and your ad copy as well, or you would say your caption. Now, if your ad creative is poor, it means that your ad campaign will not be compelling, because right now you are trying to convince people to pay attention to you and then possibly buy what you're trying to sell. So you need to make sure that your ad creative is compelling enough and it is decent enough to be able to grab somebody's attention and earn their trust. So which means when you're using an image to advertise, make sure it's an quality image. If you're using a flyer to advertise, make sure the flyer was decently designed and is professional enough to represent your brand. If you are using a video, make sure it's a clean and well edited video that can represent your brand properly. If your ad creative is rubbish, trust me, you would not get the best result from your ad campaign. And also, you need to pay attention to your ad copy, or what some people would call caption. This is the written content that is being used to advertise your brand. Now, how do you write your caption? Do you actually just put in some random words together and say, oh, buy from me, this is what I'm selling? Or do you actually put in a lot of thought to craft what I believe would be a sales copy? Now, if you do not have the copywriting skill or the salesmanship skill to actually write good copies, you can actually watch tutorials online and learn how to craft these copies, because let me assume you do not have enough money to hire a professional copywriter. So there is no shame in actually learning how to do this yourself. All you have to do is watch a couple tutorials on salesmanship and crafting the right sales copies, and you might be able to write the perfect ad copy for your brand. The next mistake you want to avoid is broad targeting. Now, a lot of people are very delusional when it comes to this. They think that the more people you target, the more your chances of succeeding with the ad campaign. But I need you to keep this in mind, that if you are targeting everybody, you are targeting nobody. So for example, if you want to sell a product and you're trying to set up an ad campaign, you should not target the 36 states in Nigeria. Of course, that would be wrong. You can choose to target a few, or you can choose to target just one state. If you believe that your target audience is in Lagos, you can choose to target Lagos alone, not Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, blah, 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 blah. You understand? So that is one thing you need to keep in mind. If your audience is too broad, then your targeting would not be very efficient. Another mistake you need to avoid is turning on and off your ad campaign. Now, this is something that I have done in the past and I regret it. It's a mistake I personally made. I was trying to actually minimize the expense on my campaign. So what I do is I turn off my ad campaign when it's night. Once it's like maybe 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., I turn it off. And then in the next morning, I turn it back on. Now, this is very, very wrong, because one thing you need to understand is your ad campaign actually works the same way your normal post works. It works with the algorithm. Now, the algorithm needs to continue distributing your content to be able to understand the audience that needs to reach that content. So if you are pausing the ad campaign to try to save cost, you are interrupting the flow, you are interrupting that distribution, and it would not make your ad campaign very effective. So just let your ad run. Do not pause it, do not stop it, because that would actually affect the results from your ad. Now, the fourth and last mistake that you should avoid is something that almost everybody is guilty of: low ad budgets. Here's what you need to keep in mind. Your budget should be commensurate to the price of the product or service that you are actually advertising. What do I mean? Listen, if you're selling a product that costs 50 to 100k for one unit, you cannot be running an ad campaign with 5,000 naira daily budget or 3,000 naira daily budget. That is too poor. This is because the ad budget is too small to distribute your campaign to the right audience. Enough people won't see it, and this will decrease your chance of reaching the prospect that may have the purchasing power to get your product. Now, if you are selling an expensive product, keep in mind that you would need to reach out to a lot of people. Your campaign needs to reach out to a lot of people. This means you cannot limit your budget so much. It's an investment. Yes, it will cost you money to invest in that campaign, but you definitely get the result back. So if you are reducing your ad budget so much and your product or service that you're advertising is expensive, you are actually shooting yourself in the foot. Now, if you're selling something that costs just 5,000 naira, of course, you can decide to run a campaign and put in 4 to 5,000 naira as a daily budget. That's because almost everyone can afford to buy a product worth 5,000 naira. Now, let me give you this simple logic. If you walk into a hall with 1,000 people, chances are that most people there would be able to afford a product of 1,000 naira. But if you are trying to sell a product that costs, let's say, 1 million naira, chances are that nobody in that room might be able to purchase that product. So what does this mean when it comes to your ad campaign? It means if you are targeting very few people and you're trying to sell a high ticket product, you will probably not make any sale. But if your ad campaign is reaching a lot of people, this increases your chances of finding that client or prospect with a purchasing power to actually get what you are selling. So it is very simple. These four mistakes, avoid them if you want the best results from your ad campaign.